Good evening, book lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Cath-Lit Live. I am your host, Amy Cattapan. You can find me everywhere on social media under the pen name for my children's books, AJ Cattapan. Speaking of my children's books, my second children's book, this is the old cover right here, 7 Riddles to Nowhere. If you follow me on social media or you subscribe to my Insiders Club newsletter, you've seen there's a new design. Now, it's not out in paperback yet. They were still working on getting the back cover copy and getting that uploaded onto the websites, onto Amazon, and I'm sure Barnes & Noble will be on too. But the Kindle version already has the new cover design. So if you haven't seen it, it's so cool. I am so happy with what Vinspire Publishing did with my new cover design for 7 Riddles to Nowhere. You get to see the 4 main characters now on the cover, which I think is just awesome because I love those characters, and I might have teared up a little bit the first time I saw this new cover design, and these kids coming to life in a new way is really, really cool. So make sure you go check that out. And if you've not signed up for my Insiders Club newsletter, go sign up for that, because I'm also going to be sending out my next new book cover design. So in spring of 2024, I have a new book for teachers coming out called A Saint Squad for Teachers. And Ave Maria Press has done a bang up job on the cover of that one. So you might have read Sweet Jesus Isn't You Yet already if you're a teacher. But if you have kids in a Catholic school, or if you have any friends who are teachers looking for that end of the school year gift, be on the lookout for A Saint Squad for Teachers. And I'm going to reveal the final cover for that on my social media and first in my Insiders Club. So make sure you sign up for those things. All right, but today we're going to be talking with a picture book author that I just met for the first time, and I'm so excited. She's a new member of the Catholic Writers Guild, and she has several picture books out. We're going to talk about one that is really timely, that just came out in 2023. And the author I'm having on today, her name is Beth Ann Ramos. She's a children's picture book author, illustrator, and publisher. Her first book, I'm Getting New Glasses, placed 3rd at the 2023 SELA Awards. Her 4th book, the one we're going to talk about tonight, Sayings About the Eucharist, was created in celebration of her son's first Holy Communion. Beth is a lifelong Catholic and homeschool mom. She holds her BBA, and no, I didn't stutter. I asked her about that. It's a Bachelor's of Business Administration, a BBA in marketing from Texas A&M University, and her MBA from Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. She and her husband have 2 young boys. They live in Texas with too many cats. Please help me welcome to the show, Beth Ann Ramos.
Here I am.
Hello. Hi, Beth Ann. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am great. Okay, I just read your bio, and you have too many cats, it says. So now I have to ask the question, how many cats is too many cats?
3 cats is too many cats. But I have a cat that I got when I was right out of college, like 20 years old or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she is now like an 18-year-old cat, or don't check my math. But so I've got her. She's mad we have kids. We have more cats. It's like anything that you do, you're like, the vet, bagging the cats, hurricane evacuation, bag the cats. It's just 3 cats is too many cats.
It's too many cats. Okay.
Yeah, I love them. They're too many cats.
All right. And do they interfere with your writing? Because I have a friend from the American Christian Fiction Writers Group. She has 2 cats, and I know like some of them used to come sit on her laptop every time she would try typing.
Yeah, like the back of the chair, and they want to hang out. And I have one, and I feel like he's like, time's up. Like, I'm gonna sit here, and you can't use your laptop now. Like, you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
I'll just pull you away maybe if you get too caught up in it.
Yeah, they're fun. I love them, but I thought through like, oh, this is what it's like with a bunch of cats and kids. Like, it's just more of a challenge than I realized. Like, I love the cats, but I think like 2 is probably the magic number.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about your writing. I know you've got several children's picture books out. The one I want to focus on, maybe we can talk a little bit about the others as well, but the one I think a lot of viewers are going to be interested in is this Sayings About the Eucharist. So tell us a bit about this book.
Yeah. So this is a book that I put together for my son's first communion. And I really just wanted to have like a keepsake for him. Like I really was just trying to reinforce the church's teaching. And I wanted to show that the church's teaching has been consistent over time. And so I did that with quotes from the saints. And so I have in the book, I didn't have to write anything, it's just my pictures. And so I have quotes that the saint said, and then I drew a picture of the saint. And so you can see, oh, I blurred my background, but you can see like over time that there's different saints and they said things about the Eucharist, that are what the church teaches. And I took that and I also made it into a coloring book. So it's kind of like one book, two ways. But yeah, it's a neat little project. And I just gravitate towards colorful, vibrant images, simple pictures. And so it was really fun to take, this teaching of the Eucharist and kind of like make it childlike and I feel like approachable for kids and understandable and relatable to kids in that way.
So how did you get started in children's picture books?
Yeah. So I spent probably 3 years thinking that I was going to like be a serious author of like nonfiction and like, I don't know, life-changing topics and serious things. And then I was home like with COVID and, all this stuff with young kids. And it was like, this is not the season of deep thoughts. And so I was in all these writers groups. And at the time someone said, well, what would it look like? Because I was just struggling to finish anything. And they said, well, what would it be like if your writing was easy and fun? And so then it was like, well, I would like color and I would, do pictures and I always, make up little rhymes and I do different things. And so it was interesting to me how in my mind writing looked one way. But then when you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to take my expectations out of it, I feel like God can do something like totally different. And so it was really a fun experience. So I did my first book. I self-published in August of 22. And so since then I've got 6 different books because it's just fun and easy now. Like I'm not beating myself up about word counts or my outlines or, it's just a lot easier and it's really fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great exercise. I know a number of like writing coaches and creativity books have said, imagine what it would be like if you were just doing it for fun. And I think that changes your perspective.
It changes it because in my mind, it was like, how do I make an impact? How do I say everything that needs to be said? And then stuff would snowball and it just kind of got out of control. And, with the first book, I was given a 6-week deadline. And so I, in that time, taught myself Adobe Illustrator and used the skills that I'd learned to like lay stuff out within an engineering firm. I like pulled because I didn't have time to make excuses or, not be able to do it. And so it just helped me get out of my way and be able to enjoy the process instead of beating myself up that like I couldn't figure it out or, anything like that. So.
Well, talk about your inspiration for this book in particular. Was it your son's first communion or was there more behind it?
It was my son's first communion. And I initially wanted to do a book on Eucharistic miracles. And then the more I thought about it, I just felt like as a picture book, I didn't want second graders like fearing like what would happen with the host. And so
is there gonna be blood when I
could just see my 7-year-old at the time, like being worried about it, and so I was like, okay, that's really not going to work. And as like a new author too, I was just trying to create something quick for his first communion. And I didn't really want to get into like quoting Bible scriptures and like citing, like, I just am not great at that stuff. And then I thought, well, if I do the saints, like a lot of them are very common saints, like, enough time has passed that like, I don't think they're going to be mad at me, like, so it just felt like a safe way to have like an alternate view or expression of like the church's teaching. So I did that for him. And I really like it because it's still childlike, but the saints quotes, they're deep quotes and they're kind of like for bigger kids, like you have to think about them. They're, it's not like a 2-year-old's picture book.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's helpful in reinforcing that as Catholics, we believe this is Jesus. Like it's not bread, it's not a symbol, it's not, he wasn't speaking in, metaphors or, like this is really Jesus. And that was what I wanted him to understand with his first communion. Because that like he went through, catechesis and like the formation, but I wanted him to know that because I feel like there are a lot of people, even Catholics, that like, don't believe that's Jesus. And like, that's awful. Like, I mean, it
Well,
just,
that's like
it's
the
just
whole point
tragic. Like,
behind the Eucharistic Revival,
yeah,
right? Is
yeah,
to try to make sure that everybody is aware this is really what the church teaches. This is what we
yeah.
believe. So how do you see maybe this being pulled into that? Or how could schools or dioceses, maybe, you're a
Yeah.
homeschooling mom, how do you see this being used as part of that Eucharistic revival?
Yeah, it's kind of funny the ways that I've seen, because I really was just doing it for my son. And at the time, I gifted a set to his first communion class, and I've seen people use it that way. I have seen it used like as a curriculum supplement. Like, there was actually a school in town that had me come and speak for All Saints Day and talk to the little ones about the saints. And the quotes were kind of hard for them, but they could color the pictures and stuff. And then I've had some like churches, diocese schools that will want like bulk copies. And so I feel like the coloring book in particular is really nice because it's interactive for the kids. And since I self-published it, I can try to work with like the costs a little bit better and like, make it attainable for people. But I love like the little size I feel like it's good for big kids. And yeah, it's just it's neat to see how people use it, like, to give it out, to use it in religious ed, to do it as a gift. There's just a lot of opportunities with it. And it's really fun to kind of see what it's turned into, like kind of books sometimes like have a life of their own. And I feel like this one kind of has, because at the time I did it, I didn't realize we were doing a Eucharistic revival. Like it was just First Communion for us. So it's neat to see how things are coming together.
Yeah. Now I know
Yeah.
you have some other books that are
Yeah.
more secular in nature, right? Can you maybe talk a little bit about what else you've written with children's picture
Yeah.
books?
So my husband is an optometrist. And so the first book that I did was to help kids feel better about getting new eyeglasses. It's called I'm Getting New Eyeglasses. I'm Getting New Glasses. What is my book called? And so
I've done that with you write books like my middle grade mystery. I wrote it in 2012. I'll go do school visits and I'm like, what is that character's, what is the bully's
like
name
what?
again? Because I
Yeah.
changed it a couple of times while I was writing it. So then you're like, I know my own characters' names. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so that book was the first in the series I created. It's a little boy and a little girl, and their names are Olive and Andy. So they had I'm Getting New Glasses, and then the most recent one I did is I'm Getting to Fly, and that's about like getting to go on an airplane for the first time. And then when I did the glasses book, all my smarty pants friends were saying I needed to do a book about bifocals. So I did just a funny parody, and it's called I'm Getting New Bifocals. And it's Olive and Andy's parents like trying on frames and to see if they look like old farts or not, or
Yeah,
it's just a cute little silly book. So I plan on expanding that series. I think my kids right now are 8 and 4, and I'm just so inspired by them and like all the new things that kids experience and how like a change in outlook can make such a difference. And so I really try to keep things light and positive and encouraging messages and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I have the Olive and Andy series, and then I would love to expand the Saying series. I think that there's just a lot that I could do there, and I think that would be really fun. So
yeah, that would be great.
yeah.
Well, if people want to check out your books, where can they keep up with you? Where can they find you online?
Yeah, so my books are all on Amazon. They are like listed through Ingram, so you can find them like at bookstores and stuff, but you just kind of never really know which ones. My website is my name, so it's just BethAnnRamos.com, and you can find me there. I'm on quite a bit of social media, but I think like a lot of people, I'm trying to like not all the time. But on my website, you can find how to reach out to me, and I would love to hear from you. And if there's any way I can support anyone's schools or churches or dioceses, it would just be a pleasure. So.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on and being a guest tonight. And
Yeah.
welcome to the Catholic Writers Guild.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be a part. Thank you so much.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So I'm so glad to meet a new member of the Catholic Writers Guild and hear all about the things that she is doing in children's picture books, both her faith-based ones and her secular ones that I think sound really cute. I could see kids really getting into watching these other little kids experience these first things, for a new thing for the first time. So go ahead and check her out. And of course, like and subscribe. And if you haven't checked out the Hallow app yet, of course, if you want to get a free trial to the Hallow app, go to hallow.app/Cath-Lit live. That's the prayer app that I've known for a long time, and they've helped to sponsor the show. So please go and check them out. And until next time, I'm just going to wish you all happy reading.